Hello, hello. Peace, 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 family, and welcome to Elevating Empaths Extras Volume 1. I am so glad to be here with you. For those who celebrated over the holiday, hopefully you're well and you had an amazing holiday. For those who don't celebrate or did not celebrate, then hopefully you just had a great couple of restful, relaxing days to kind of take in some of that goodness. We had some like really soft type of energy that came through here, and it was pretty cool. So hopefully you all were able to take advantage of that. I know you're probably wondering, elevating empaths extras, what is this? Well, actually, what it is an episode, or shall I say, a volume that was not necessarily planned. So throughout the duration of this series, I'll do these extras videos, and they derive from either little sudden insights that I may receive, maybe a message in meditation, maybe a prompting to speak on a certain thing, or as in this case, a comment that I receive on a video. And when I read it or respond, I may feel like it's something that we can go into depth about, and more people would be able to actually receive some beneficial information. So in this case, that's exactly what happened on the second episode of Elevating Empaths. I received a comment, and I just wanted to read it and address the comment really quickly, because this is something that I grappled with early on. And the person who posted the comment, I thought, if she's going through this, then guess what? This may be something that can help everyone, because the goal here is to have a community where we can really build each other up and help each other kind of navigate this thing, right? So shout out to the Hearts Empress. And the Hearts Empress actually wrote in the comments, she said, I haven't figured out how to work through others' emotions, especially when I'm uncomfortable. It feels like an invasion. And I was so grateful to her for, first of all, taking the time to share. But second of all, because that's something that is really relevant, right? First of all, it is an invasion. Dealing with someone's emotions outside of your own, it's somewhat of an invasion, especially like you said, when you're uncomfortable, it becomes even more of an invasion. Like, wait a minute, how do I deal with this? And what I wanted to say to that was, first, we have to learn who we are energetically, right? Where does our energy end and the next person's begins? Where do our emotions end and the next person's begins, right? So, the first thing I wanted to say to that, this is why it is so imperative to take time to get to know who you are fully. Because the first thing is, you're going to be able to decipher, wait a minute, these aren't my emotions. Yeah, they're coming at me, but they're not mine. You know what I mean? And that's important to know, because knowing that they're not yours brings me to the second thing, which is, look, it's not my job to work through anyone else's emotions. Now, and I'm not sure that I was a little confused when I read it. I wasn't sure exactly how she meant it. So I wanted to address it from two different angles. It's not our job to work through anyone else's emotions, simply because we don't have the ability to do that. They're not ours. People have free will, people have autonomy. And also, sometimes people just have a process of what their emotions are, right? So, as an empath, because we will still tend to take it on and possibly absorb it, um, there's several things that we can do. First of all, like I said, we're not to work through their emotions, so we can hold space for them. We can offer advice. You can even send some really healing, loving energy their way, and you can do that many different ways. We'll talk about that later in the series, because that's really getting more into learning how to regulate your energy, and also how to direct it. But there are many different ways that you can send a healing energy or a loving energy to someone as well. However, I always err on the side of caution when doing that, because you want to discern, be able to discern that this is someone that you should even be trying to um to assist them. Why do I say that? Yeah, you want to help everybody, you do, but you have to remember that people also have to want the help. You don't ever want to overstep. You know what I mean? People have free will. Some people don't want to be helped. Some people don't want, or you know that you may have gotten the insight that this is something that they have to go through. So if I intervene and get to sending a certain energy their way, am I just prolonging the process? Or if I do something that temporarily derails it, am I just prolonging the process? Is this something that this person is destined to go through? You don't want to come in between that, right? And also, sometimes it's just simply not your job. And so, you know, with that being said, it doesn't take away from the fact that, okay, what happens? Well, I took on the energy. You know what I mean? And maybe you took on the energy, or you absorbed their emotions. It may have been unintentional. Um, it may have caught you off guard. That happens a lot. You know what I mean? And so now what I do with it, when you don't work with it, your job is to release it. And so if you find yourself in a situation where you have absorb someone's emotion, and it's actually, um, even if it's not affecting you, but especially when it's affecting you, and you know because it's there and you can't seem to shake it, there are different things that you can do to try to get rid of it. Not try, you need to dump it. First and foremost, I am such an advocate of spiritual baths. And even if you don't want to go as far as to call it a spiritual bath, take a salt bath. It's a proven fact that salt neutralizes energy. You know what I mean? And so that's just something that it is what it is, right? And so, if nothing else, take a salt bath, and that will allow you to cleanse some of the energy off of yourself. You hear me talk about grounding, going outside and putting your feet on the ground and allow the earth to absorb the energy, pull the energy from off of you, the emotion, because it isn't yours and it isn't your job to carry it around either, because it's going to affect you, whether you're going to be sad, whether you're going to be angry, whether you're going to be disgruntled. It's going to affect you if you don't get rid of it. And so the if you have taken it on, your job now is to release it. And you'll find, as you go on, you may, depending upon how, like if you're, especially like if you're an energy healer, um, you'll find that sometimes you'll take on people's energy on purpose, but with that, you have to be willing and know how to either transmute it, or get rid of it altogether, right? And so those are some of the things. Also, smudging. Some people don't like smudging. Some people feel like, there's a subset of people. Some people just aren't comfortable with certain things, and that's okay too. So if you don't want to smudge, say using your Palo Santo or your sage or your frankincense, whatever it is, you know, then go back to one of the first suggestions, but you do have to find a way to release it. Really, you can go outside and dance it off you if you want to, because the more you raise your vibration, the more the denser, or the more lower type of vibrational energies, which sometimes come from like any type of negative emotions, they'll fall off of you. Now, my probably best suggestion for all of this is just to be proactive. And that's something that I've spoken on often. Be proactive. What does that mean? Being proactive, I like tools. A lot of people don't like to use certain things. So if you know you're going out and you're going to come into contact with people, one of the easiest things you can do is to literally envision yourself. People are like, they don't get this, but you can literally envision yourself in a bubble. Mine is normally a golden white light of the absolute highest vibration. And imagine and see that coming from your core center all the way out. And encompassing you in a bubble. This is your bubble. And only energy that is vibrating on a specific frequency of pure unconditional love can permeate through that. And if you make this a practice, you can meditate with that bubble. You know, when you walk around, imagine that bubble. See, this is one of the reasons why, and I'm not going to go too far into this, but this is one of the reasons why it is so pertinent to actually heal and heal your heart space as well as inner child issues. Because before you can pull anything into this physical realm, it has to exist here first, right? Exist here, and then it comes outward. So, with that being said, seeing that bubble in your mind around you pushes your aura out and seals it so that nothing can come through it. And that is a very good practice. Also, for those who don't mind crystals like myself, I love crystals, right? So those who don't mind, grounding stones are really good for protection. So like obsidian, tourmaline, you know, um, even like smoky quartz, certain crystals that will put a protective layer around your auric field. And then something that will raise you is like selenite. The goal is to be vibrating at a level where certain energies aren't even able to permeate and come into that space with you. But we all have these situations where we get caught slipping, right? You open the text message unsuspecting, or you answered the phone unsuspecting, or you just had this wild run in with someone unsuspecting, you out minding your business. And so there are still those times, even when you're taking the necessary precautions and being proactive, that these energies may still come in, but you have to know how to transmute them and how to get rid of them. You know what I mean? This doesn't mean run out and go buy a whole bunch of stuff. You use what you have. I'm a firm believer in that. You use what you have. It's so funny because even in your environment, it's not difficult to change the energy in your environment. So let's say you had a visitor and they may have been a little sad or a little angry or a little disgruntled, whatever, and you can kind of feel that because we are so sensitive and our auric fields go out so far, and those feelers are out there, those feelers just taking stuff in, right? And so it's really interesting because in your environment, and I've always said this before I even understood it, but I always say that the two quickest things that can kind of shift the energy is a nice smelling aroma, absolutely, and music. So let's say you invited someone into your home and they may have been a little disgruntled or sad or whatever the energy is. It's not your energy, and you are working and you don't have any smudge. You don't have any sage, you don't have any palo, you don't have any frank, you don't even have any incense. You know what I mean? One of the quickest ways to kind of get that thing back on into razor, you can clap your hands and dance through your home. I'm telling you, it breaks up the stagnancy of the energy. Um, and so, yeah, I just wanted to come on and and speak on that really quickly. I went a little bit deeper up there than I really wanted to. But at the core of this, what this is about is learning to be proactive and not reactive. So your first line of defense is going to be about creating boundaries and also having, and we're going to talk about this more, but really having a practice that gets you used to um, protecting your energetic field so that you don't absorb so much of it. Look, when you can still show up in a balanced, compassionate way as an empath, without actually absorbing the energy, you're at a higher capacity to be able to assist. And so learning how to protect yourself is going to be the first thing as an empath that you need to do. Well, especially now with so much of the energy just kind of, a little erratic sometimes, heavy sometimes, that's not my world, but that's because I'm an active co-creator in my world, right? But this is what I'm talking about, learning to be an active co-creator in your world, learning to be the captain of your ship and regulate what has access, who has access, should they have access, and when it's someone that you really feel like you're supposed to help, or you've gotten that nudge from spirit saying, hey, this person needs you, that you're able to show up in a balanced way without taking on everything that they are putting out. Yep, that definitely went further than I expected. But anyway, yes, this is the first volume of Elevating Empaths Extras, and I wanted to address that. Once again, shout out to the Hot Empress for leaving that comment. I think it was really relevant. So, just to do a quick recap, we don't work through others' emotions. We can hold space, we can send healing and love, we can offer advice, but we need to be able to discern that that is someone or something that we should be involved in. Also, if you take on the energy unsuspectingly and you end up absorbing it anyway, remember the ways to release it, to have it fall off you. That's important. Self care is very high ranking when it comes to being an empath. And if you're a person, I'm pretty sure most empaths who are listening to this, that is something that you have not always done your best in, because it's in us to look out for other people first. I am just getting to a place where I am learning to put me first, because for so many years I have lined everyone up in front of me, and then it's me. You know what I mean? But if I'm not okay, if I'm not okay, then anyone who I'm placed here to help is not going to be okay, right? It's important to remember that it's not about being selfish. It's about practicing self love, self respect, self care, so that you can spread outward. And I'm going to say that almost to the end of time. Anyway, I've been on here way too long. I hope this content was helpful. I hope the Hot Empress that this did answer your question. If you all have any other questions, comments, suggestions, feel free to leave them. We love to hear from you. I hope this can help someone. That is my highest intention, that you're able to pull something from it. And until next time, when we do episode 3, where we're going to get into this empath narcissist talk. I'm really looking forward to it, but I think it's going to have to be more than one episode. I think we're going to have to do a deep dive on that one. Anyway, until next time, it is I, Miss Iilah Moon. That is all I got. You all have an amazing, amazing, amazing week and weekend going into the new year. I may see you before then. Until next time, peace.